Welcome to tonight's journey of discovery and quiet exploration. The world around you is peaceful and completely still. You are safe inside your warm and comfortable space. Take a slow and very deep breath right now. Release the lingering tension from your long, busy day. Tonight we explore the hidden depths of our planet. We will study the fascinating realm of marine extremophiles. These organisms live in unbelievably harsh and hostile conditions. They survive where nothing else on Earth possibly could. Our full journey covers 100 carefully researched facts. This first chapter contains 10 incredible deep-sea discoveries. Let your mind slowly drift into the oceanic darkness. Imagine the crushing heavy weight of the deep water. Visualize the freezing cold temperatures of the endless abyss. Think about boiling chemical vents on the dark seafloor. Life always finds a way in these extreme places. Microbes thrive in absolute pitch-black ocean floor environments. They do not need any sunlight to successfully survive. They consume raw minerals and harsh toxic chemical compounds. Their unique biology defies our traditional basic scientific understanding. Close your eyes and simply listen to my voice. We will travel downward to the distant ocean floor. Let the gentle water fact number 1 explores the incredible heat-loving thermophilic microbes. These organisms thrive near boiling deep-sea hydrothermal vent chimneys. Water temperatures here frequently exceed 100 degrees Celsius. The intense ocean pressure prevents the superheated water from boiling. Strain 121 is a truly famous thermophilic microorganism. Scientists first discovered this unique organism in the year 2000. It lives perfectly at 121 degrees Celsius. This extreme temperature would instantly destroy most normal biological cells. The microbe uses dissolved iron to process its daily energy. It actually breathes iron instead of standard dissolved oxygen molecules. Researchers located it deep inside the Juan de Fuca Ridge. This volcanic ridge lies in the dark northeastern Pacific Ocean. These tiny organisms build the foundation of a dark ecosystem. They provide vital nutrients for giant tubeworms and crabs. Fact number 2 introduces organisms living in extreme freezing cold. These cold-loving microbes are scientifically known as marine psychrophiles. They inhabit the freezing waters beneath thick polar ice caps. Temperatures in these deep regions drop below 0 degrees Celsius. Salt water freezes at a much lower point than fresh water. This allows liquid water to exist at -2 degrees. Psychrophiles possess special proteins to prevent deadly cellular ice crystals. Ice crystals would normally puncture and destroy delicate cell membranes. These microbes produce natural biological antifreeze to protect their structures. Scientists studied them in the deep trenches of the Antarctic. In 1999, researchers found a strain called Colwellia. This bacteria reproduces happily at -1 degree Celsius. Their metabolic processes are incredibly slow and highly energy efficient. A single cellular division might take several months to complete. Fact number 3 focuses on life under crushing ocean pressure. These pressure-loving organisms are formally classified as marine piezophile. They reside in the deepest known ocean trenches on Earth. The Mariana Trench is their most famous extreme habitat. Depths here reach nearly 11,000 meters below the surface. The hydrostatic pressure exceeds 1,000 times standard atmospheric pressure. This weight equals 50 jumbo jets resting on a person. Normal cell membranes would become stiff and completely stop functioning. Piezophils build their cell walls with special flexible fatty acids. These unique fats keep the membranes fluid under immense weight. Researchers isolated a microbe named Shewanella benthica in 1990. This bacteria requires extreme pressure just to grow and survive. Scientists must use pressurized titanium chambers to study them safely. These microbes prove that immense weight cannot extinguish biological life. Fact number 4 examines microbes surviving in extreme salt concentrations. These specialized organisms are known to marine biologists as halophiles. The deep ocean contains hidden underwater lakes called brine pools. These dense pools sit quietly on the dark seafloor sediment. Their water is up to 8 times saltier than seawater. This heavy brine does not mix with the ocean above. Such high salt levels would severely dehydrate any normal creature. Water typically rushes out of cells to balance salt concentrations. Halophiles survive by accumulating harmless organic compounds inside their bodies. This internal adjustment prevents the external salt from extracting water. Scientists mapped the massive Orca Basin brine pool in 1976. It lies over 2,000 meters deep in the Gulf. The salt concentration there exceeds 300 grams per liter. These communities remain completely isolated from the surrounding ocean life. Fact number 5 reveals life in highly acidic marine environments. Certain hydrothermal vents release fluids loaded with harsh corrosive acids. These acid-loving microbes are scientifically categorized as marine acidophils. They thrive in water with a pH level near 0. For comparison, standard battery acid has a similar pH value. Such extreme acidity dissolves common metals and destroys organic tissue. Acidophils maintain a neutral internal pH to protect their DNA. They actively pump harmful acid protons out of their cells. This continuous pumping mechanism requires massive amounts of cellular energy. Researchers discovered these microbes near the active Tonga Trench volcanoes. Expeditions in 2004 sampled fluids from these vents. They found thriving colonies of bacteria coating the acidic rocks. These microbes extract energy by oxidizing pure sulfur and iron. These tiny survivors transform toxic volcanic waste into biological energy. Fact number 6 discusses microbes living in highly alkaline conditions. These alkali-loving organisms naturally inhabit very basic marine environments. The Lost City hydrothermal field is their most famous home. Scientists accidentally discovered this towering white structure in 2000. It sits deep in the central Atlantic Ocean fracture zone. The venting fluids here possess a pH of 11.5. This extreme basic environment resembles industrial household liquid bleach cleaners. Alkalophiles face the constant danger of their cells breaking apart. They use special sodium pumps to maintain their internal balance. These pumps draw hydrogen ions inward to neutralize the interior. The microbes here do not rely on volcanic magma heat. Instead, they use heat generated by rocks reacting with seawater. This specific chemical reaction is known to geologists as serpentinization. These white chimneys host millions of specialized alkaline-resistant microbes. Fact number 7 explores organisms surviving massive doses of radiation. Deep sea sediments sometimes contain highly radioactive natural mineral deposits. Certain marine microbes exhibit an astonishing resistance to gamma radiation. Deinococcus radiodurans is the most famous radiation-resistant biological organism. Scientists first isolated this tough microbe in 1956. It can survive radiation doses exceeding 10,000 Gray units. For context, a dose of 5 Gray is lethal to humans. Radiation destroys life by shattering delicate cellular DNA into pieces. This microbe possesses an incredibly fast and efficient repair mechanism. It can reassemble a completely shattered genome in mere hours. The organism stores multiple backup copies of its genetic code. Specialized proteins act like microscopic mechanics to rebuild broken strands. Researchers found similar resilient microbes deep in oceanic trench mud. These microbes wait patiently in the dark sediment for millennia. Fact number 8 introduces microbes living entirely inside solid rock. These hidden organisms are scientifically classified as deep marine endoliths. They inhabit the microscopic pores of the oceanic basalt crust. Scientists call this vast hidden realm the deep marine biosphere. Researchers drilled into the seafloor crust in 1993. They discovered active biological life hundreds of meters beneath sediment. These microbes never see sunlight or interact with ocean currents. They extract trace minerals directly from the surrounding volcanic rock. Their metabolism is powered by slow geological water-rock reactions. Some endoliths divide and reproduce only once every 1,000 years. This deep biosphere may contain most of Earth's microbial mass. It stretches across millions of square miles of dark seafloor. These rock dwellers silently shape the chemical composition of Earth. Fact number 9 focuses on life in extreme nutrient starvation. These highly efficient microbes are known to science as oligotrophs. Vast stretches of the deep ocean floor are biological deserts. Almost no organic matter falls from the distant surface above. Microbes here must survive on almost zero fresh food inputs. In 2012, scientists analyzed South Pacific gyre sediments. This region is the most nutrient-poor ocean on Earth. Researchers found living microbes buried under 30 meters of clay. These sediments have rested there undisturbed for 86 million years. The bacteria consume oxygen at an almost undetectable slow rate. They use absolute minimum energy just to maintain cell structures. Their biological machinery is stripped down to the barest essentials. These organisms teach us about the ultimate limits of starvation. They prove life can endure through millions of hungry years. Fact number 10 explores the incredible resilience of marine polyextremophiles. These extraordinary microbes survive multiple extreme environmental conditions simultaneously today. Deep-sea brine pools are both highly toxic and pressurized. Hydrothermal vents are extremely hot and deeply acidic at once. Organisms living here must master several survival strategies at once. Sulfolobus is an archaea that loves both heat and acid. It thrives at 80 degrees Celsius in highly acidic water. Scientists sequenced its entire genetic code in 2001. They discovered a complex network of multi-layered defensive proteins. Polyextremophiles push the absolute boundaries of known carbon-based life. They provide excellent models for astrobiologists studying distant alien worlds. Our deep ocean serves as a perfect testing ground today. These tiny survivors give us hope for finding cosmic neighbors. Fact number 11. The bacterium Deinococcus radiodurans survives intense radiation exposure. Scientists discovered it inside a meat tin in 1956. The tin had been sterilized with high doses of gamma rays. Yet the meat still spoiled due to this resilient microbe. It can withstand 5,000 grays of ionizing radiation. For context, 10 grays would be lethal to a human. The radiation shatters the genome of this tiny organism. However, it possesses an extraordinary cellular repair mechanism. The bacterium reassembles its broken DNA within mere hours. Multiple copies of its genome are stored in ring-like structures. This arrangement allows rapid alignment of damaged genetic fragments. Researchers studied this microbe to understand cellular aging. Its abilities might help protect astronauts during long space voyages. Some scientists propose using it to clean up radioactive waste. The organism thrives in dry environments with high UV exposure. Its red pigment provides protection. Fact number 12. Certain microbes require crushing ocean depths to survive. Biologists call these extreme pressure-loving organisms piezophile. They inhabit the deepest ocean trenches on our planet. The Mariana Trench hosts many of these unique life forms. Water pressure there reaches 100 megapascal units. This equals 1,000 times the standard atmospheric pressure. Normal cell membranes would become rigid and shatter here. Piezophiles adapt by altering their cellular lipid composition. They incorporate high amounts of unsaturated fatty acids. This chemical adjustment keeps their membranes fluid and functional. Their internal proteins also feature unique structural modifications. These proteins resist collapsing under the immense physical weight. Brought to the surface, these microbes quickly perish. The sudden lack of pressure causes their cells to rupture. Scientists must use specialized pressurized vessels to study them. One notable species was isolated at a depth of 10 kilometers. It continues to grow optimally only at fact number 13. Halophiles are organisms that thrive in hypersaline environments. They inhabit places like the Dead Sea and Great Salt Lake. Ocean water contains about 3% dissolved salt. Halophile habitats often exceed 30% salt concentration. Such high salinity would dehydrate and kill normal cells instantly. Water typically flows out of cells through a process called osmosis. Halophiles prevent this by accumulating specific internal solutes. They pump massive amounts of potassium ions into their cytoplasm. This internal saltiness balances the external osmotic pressure perfectly. Their proteins have evolved to function only in high salt. Without sufficient sodium chloride, their cellular structures unfold and degrade. Many halophiles belong to the ancient domain called Archaea. They often produce vibrant red or purple carotenoid pigments. These pigments protect them from intense solar ultraviolet radiation. Salt evaporation ponds often appear bright pink due to their presence. Researchers study them to understand life on ancient fact number 14. Psychrophiles are extremophiles adapted to permanently freezing environments. They flourish in Arctic ice and deep ocean waters. Most biological processes slow down dramatically at low temperatures. Ice crystals usually pierce cell walls and destroy tissues. Psychrophiles secrete special antifreeze proteins to prevent this damage. These proteins bind to small ice crystals as they form. Their cellular membranes contain short lipid chains for maximum flexibility. This prevents the membrane from freezing solid like butter. Scientists found viable psychrophiles in a subglacial Antarctic lake. Lake Vostok has been sealed beneath ice for millions of years. The microbes there survive in total darkness at -3 degrees. They metabolize minerals from the underlying bedrock to generate energy. Some psychrophiles reproduce successfully at -12 degrees Celsius. Their enzymes are highly active even near the freezing point. Biotechnology companies use these specialized cold enzymes in everyday fact number 15. Acidophils thrive in highly acidic environments across the globe. They inhabit volcanic crater lakes and deep geothermal springs. Some species flourish in acid mine drainage streams. The pH scale measures acidity from 0 to 14. Pure water is neutral with a pH of 7. Human stomach acid has a pH of about 2. Certain extreme acidophils grow optimally at a pH near 0. This level of acidity dissolves standard metals in minutes. Yet these microbes maintain a neutral internal cellular pH. They achieve this by constantly pumping protons out of their cells. Their cell membranes are highly impermeable to external hydrogen ions. The Rio Tinto River in Spain hosts millions of acidophils. The water flows deep red due to dissolved iron oxides. Microbes here extract energy by oxidizing iron and sulfur compounds. Scientists consider Rio Tinto a terrestrial analog for Martian fact number 16. Alkalophiles exist at the opposite end of the pH spectrum. They require highly basic environments to survive and multiply. Mono Lake in California is a famous alkalophile habitat. Its water has a pH of roughly 10.0. This makes it as alkaline as household glass cleaner. High alkalinity typically destroys cellular lipids and degrades RNA molecules. Alkalophiles evolved unique cell walls to protect their delicate interiors. They use acidic polymers on their surface to buffer the environment. This layer repels harmful hydroxide ions away from the cell membrane. They also utilize specialized sodium channels for energy production. Most life relies on proton gradients to generate cellular power. Protons are extremely scarce in highly alkaline water conditions. Therefore, alkalophiles pump sodium ions instead to drive their metabolism. Industrial manufacturers harvest alkaline enzymes from these unique microbes. These enzymes are added to heavy-duty dishwashing detergents. Fact number 17. Endoliths are organisms that live entirely inside solid rocks. They inhabit microscopic pores and fractures deep beneath the earth. Scientists have discovered them 3 kilometers below the continental crust. There is absolutely no sunlight in this deep subterranean realm. Endoliths must rely on inorganic chemicals for their energy needs. They consume trace amounts of hydrogen gas and dissolved minerals. Radioactive decay of surrounding uranium naturally produces this hydrogen gas. Some estimates suggest it holds 20% of global biomass. Life down here moves at an astonishingly slow pace. Endoliths may only divide and reproduce once every 1,000 years. They spend most of their existence in a dormant state. This slow metabolism ensures they do not exhaust their limited resources. Researchers study endolithic communities to guide planetary exploration missions. If life exists on Mars, it likely hides deep underground. Subsurface rocks offer protection from harsh surface radiation. And fact number 18. The bacterium Thermus aquaticus revolutionized modern molecular biology forever. Researchers discovered it in Yellowstone National Park in 1969. It was isolated from the boiling waters of Mushroom Spring. The water temperature there hovers around 70 degrees Celsius. Most biological proteins unfold and coagulate at such high temperatures. Think of a raw egg turning solid in a hot pan. However, this microbe possesses incredibly heat-stable internal enzymes. One specific enzyme is called Taq DNA polymerase. Scientists extracted this enzyme to copy DNA in the laboratory. The DNA copying process requires repeated cycles of intense heating. Previously, researchers had to add fresh enzymes after every heating cycle. The Taq enzyme survives the heat without degrading at all. This discovery enabled the creation of the polymerase chain reaction. PCR allows scientists to amplify tiny DNA samples exponentially. Every modern genetic test relies on this heat-loving fact number 19. Extremophiles are not limited to single-cell bacteria and archaea. Scientists recently discovered multicellular animals living in extreme conditions. They found tiny creatures called loricifrans in the Mediterranean Sea. These microscopic animals reside deep in the Atalant Basin. This basin is permanently devoid of dissolved oxygen. It is also extremely salty and rich in toxic sulfides. Before this discovery, scientists believed all animals required oxygen. Complex life was thought impossible in permanently anoxic environments. These loricifrans completely lack standard oxygen-breathing mitochondria. Instead, they possess unique cellular organelles called hydrogenosomes. These structures generate cellular energy without using oxygen at all. The animals spend their entire life cycle in this toxic brine. They even reproduce successfully in the complete absence of oxygen. This finding dramatically expanded the known limits of animal life. It forces biologists to rethink the evolutionary history of animals. Complex organisms can adapt to surprisingly hostile chemical fact number 20. Some extreme microbes thrive in highly toxic heavy metal concentrations. We classify these resilient organisms as metallotolerant extremophiles. Heavy metals like lead, arsenic, and cadmium are usually lethal. They bind to cellular proteins and destroy their natural functions. Metallotolerant microbes have evolved brilliant defense mechanisms against these toxins. Some bacteria actively pump the heavy metals out of their cells. Others transform toxic metal ions into harmless solid nanoparticles. Cupriovidus metalligerans is a fascinating example of this adaptation. It survives in soils heavily contaminated with toxic liquid gold. The bacterium absorbs the toxic gold compounds from its environment. It then processes them chemically inside its tiny cellular machinery. The microbe excretes microscopic nuggets of pure, solid gold. Scientists are exploring ways to use these microbes in industry. They could help recover precious metals from discarded electronic waste. They might also clean up severely polluted industrial mining fact number 21. Some robust microbes thrive under crushing deep ocean pressure. Scientists classify these unique organisms as resilient marine piezophile. They exclusively inhabit the deepest and darkest ocean trenches. The famous Mariana Trench hosts many such specialized species. Pressure here reaches 1,000 times normal atmospheric levels. Normal surface dwellers would be instantly crushed down here. These piezophiles possess incredibly unique cellular survival adaptations today. Their delicate cell membranes contain highly special fatty acids. These specialized lipids cleverly prevent the membrane from solidifying. Normal cell membranes turn completely rigid under extreme pressure. Piezophile membranes remain completely fluid and highly functional underwater. Researchers isolated a notable species in 1998. Scientists officially named this fascinating bacterium Colwellia marinemembranae. It grows optimally at a staggering depth of 10 kilometers. Its functional proteins require immense high pressure to fold correctly. Without immense pressure, the fragile cellular structures simply fall apart. Studying them requires specialized titanium high-pressure laboratory testing chambers. These microscopic organisms constantly expand our view of fact number 22. Certain extreme microbes survive absolutely lethal doses of harsh radiation. The most famous example is officially called Deinococcus radiodurans. Scientists discovered this incredibly tough microbe entirely by pure accident. This remarkable accidental scientific discovery occurred in 1956. Dedicated researchers were actively experimenting with modern commercial food preservation. They completely sterilized canned meat using heavy gamma radiation blasts. The applied radiation dose was considered incredibly high and deadly. It absolutely should have killed all known living biological things. Yet the irradiated canned meat still spoiled surprisingly and rapidly. Researchers isolated a strange reddish bacterium from the ruined cans. This organism easily withstood 10,000 grays of deadly radiation. For stark context, merely 5 grays can easily kill humans. Deinococcus radiodurans repairs its completely shattered DNA structure flawlessly. Radiation breaks its fragile genetic code into hundreds of fragments. The resilient bacterium reassembles the broken pieces within mere hours. This efficient mechanism prevents dangerous mutations during the complex fact number 23. Acidophils are unique microbes that love highly acidic natural environments. Southern Spain features a famous toxic river called Rio Tinto. The flowing water here runs a deep and rusty red. This striking visual color comes from heavy dissolved iron minerals. The unusual river maintains a persistently highly acidic pH level. It consistently averages a harsh pH of around 2.0. This extreme environmental acidity rivals concentrated human stomach acid easily. Most fragile aquatic life would quickly dissolve in these waters. Yet a highly complex microscopic biological ecosystem thrives here naturally. Tough bacteria like Acidithiobacillus ferrooxidans completely dominate the toxic river. Instead of sunlight, they actively oxidize heavy iron and sulfur. This strange chemical process independently generates their vital daily energy. The busy microbes actually directly contribute to the river's acidity. Their natural metabolic waste products continuously produce strong sulfuric acid. These organisms constantly pump dangerous protons out of their cells. A safe neutral interior perfectly protects their fragile fact number 24. Some highly extreme microbes strongly prefer highly alkaline water conditions. These tough organisms are scientifically known as resilient marine alkalophiles. Beautiful Mono Lake in sunny California is a prime example. The strange lake water is incredibly basic and highly salty. Its measured pH level very often exceeds 10.0. This extreme alkalinity roughly equals harsh household chemical glass cleaner. The isolated lake contains massive deadly amounts of dissolved arsenic. Arsenic remains highly toxic to almost all known biological life. Yet Mono Lake thoroughly teems with highly specialized aquatic microorganisms. Scientists officially discovered Spirochaeta americana here in 2003. This fascinating spiral-shaped bacterium moves gracefully through the toxic mud. These clever microbes utilize abundant sodium ions instead of rare protons. Specialized internal membrane pumps carefully maintain their delicate chemical balance. Their tough cell walls contain heavy acidic polymers for extra protection. These unique polymers act as a highly efficient chemical buffer system. Modern industrial scientists find these tough extreme microbes incredibly commercially. Fact number 25. Halophiles are specialized organisms requiring massive environmental salt water concentrations. The famous Dead Sea is one of their primary habitats. This legendary water body sits quietly between Jordan and Israel. Its measured natural salinity reaches 34.2%. This extreme concentration is nearly 10 times saltier than oceans. Normal fish cannot possibly survive in this intensely salty water. However, specialized extreme microbes flourish perfectly in these harsh conditions. Haloarcula marismortui is a prominent and fascinating Dead Sea resident. This unique microbe possesses a distinct reddish-purple natural cellular pigment. Dense seasonal blooms of these tough microbes tint the water red. Extreme salt normally draws essential water completely out of living cells. Halophiles brilliantly counter this by storing heavy potassium inside their cells. The internal potassium perfectly balances the crushing external sodium pressure. Halophile proteins possess highly negatively charged exterior molecular surfaces everywhere. These powerful electrical charges attract vital water molecules to the protein. This clever mechanism creates a protective hydration shell around. Fact number 26. Some fascinating extreme microbes live entirely inside solid rock formations. Scientists officially classify them as hardy cryptoendolithic microorganisms today. They quietly inhabit the freezing McMurdo dry valleys of Antarctica. This desolate region remains the absolute driest desert on Earth. Winter temperatures often plummet to -60 degrees Celsius here. Ferocious freezing winds scour the barren rocky landscape almost constantly. Normal surface life is completely impossible in this frozen wasteland. Yet stubborn life hides just millimeters beneath the hard rock surface. Microbes successfully colonize the tiny empty pores inside sandstone boulders. The solid rock provides a vital and protective environmental shield. It effectively blocks lethal ultraviolet solar radiation from the sun. The translucent quartz grains let just enough faint light pass through. This faint light allows microscopic green algae to safely photosynthesize. Hidden fungi and bacteria share this microscopic rocky shelter together. The porous rock cleverly traps tiny amounts of precious liquid moisture. These resilient microbes grow at an agonizingly slow. Fact number 27. Certain unusual extreme microbes possess incredible natural heavy metal tolerance. They thrive easily in highly toxic, heavily metal-rich soil environments. The tough bacterium Cupriovidus metalligerans is a truly fascinating example. This organism survives in dirt heavily laced with toxic heavy metals. It naturally resists deadly copper, dangerous zinc, and even toxic lead. Its biological interaction with dissolved gold is particularly remarkable today. Dissolved gold chemical compounds are normally highly toxic to biological cells. This clever microbe neutralizes the toxic gold ions completely safely. It actively absorbs dissolved gold complexes from its immediate toxic environment. Specialized enzymes inside the tiny cell process the toxic metallic liquid. The bacterium converts the liquid into solid microscopic gold nanoparticles. These tiny solid gold nuggets accumulate safely inside the microbial cell. The microbe eventually excretes the solid, completely harmless pure gold. This biological process actively contributes to the formation of gold deposits. Scientists frequently observed this strange phenomenon in Australian gold fact number 28. Alligators are extreme microbes surviving on practically absolutely nothing. They inhabit dark environments with severely limited natural nutrient supplies. The deep marine subsurface biosphere is their massive primary domain. Beneath the ocean floor lies miles of heavily compacted mud sediment. This dark, crushing realm contains very little usable organic carbon. Microbes down here live in a perpetual state of extreme starvation. They barely consume enough tiny energy to maintain their fragile DNA. Their internal cellular metabolic rates are almost incomprehensibly slow today. Normal surface bacteria might easily divide every 20 short minutes. Deep sediment alligators divide perhaps once every single 1,000 years. Scientists drill deep sediment cores in the vast South Pacific Gyre. This specific remote area is the absolute deadest oceanic zone. They successfully recovered dark mud from 100 meters deep. The extracted marine sediment was over 100 million years old. Incredibly, scientists found living dormant microbes perfectly trapped inside it. These resilient ancient cells had been buried since the fact number 29. Some extreme organisms master multiple harsh environmental conditions completely simultaneously. Marine biologists generally refer to them as tough polyextremophiles today. Sulfolobus acidocaldarius is a truly perfect biological example of this. It was first officially discovered in beautiful Yellowstone National Park. The exact year of its scientific discovery was 1970. This tough microbe thrives in boiling, highly acidic volcanic hot springs. It absolutely requires scalding water temperatures around 80 degrees Celsius. It also strictly needs a highly acidic environmental pH of 2. Surviving either extreme condition alone is a massive biological feat. Mastering both extremes requires truly extraordinary internal cellular membrane architecture. Its cell membrane is structurally highly unique among all living things. It naturally possesses a completely rigid, single-layer protective lipid membrane. This unique chemical structure completely prevents the tiny cell from melting. It also safely keeps the burning sulfuric acid strictly outside. The clever microbe uses dissolved sulfur as its primary energy source. It actively oxidizes toxic hydrogen sulfide gas bubbling up. Fact number 30. Tough extremophiles guide the modern scientific search for extraterrestrial alien life. Jupiter's icy moon Europa is a truly prime astrobiological mission target. An incredibly thick shell of solid cracked ice covers this moon. The frozen ice crust is roughly 15 to 25 kilometers thick. Beneath this massive frozen shield lies a vast, dark liquid ocean. This hidden subsurface ocean contains twice the liquid water of Earth. Massive tidal forces from giant Jupiter constantly squeeze the tiny moon. This constant physical friction generates immense internal planetary geological heat. The heat prevents the deep alien ocean from freezing completely solid. Scientists strongly suspect active hydrothermal vents exist on Europa's dark seafloor. These deep volcanic vents could easily provide vital chemical energy for life. Earth's deep-sea extremophiles beautifully prove warm sunlight is not strictly required. Methanogens on Earth survive solely on dark hydrogen and carbon dioxide. Similar tough extremophiles could theoretically survive in Europa's freezing dark depths. Space fact number 31 explores microbes under crushing oceanic pressure. Scientists call these highly resilient deep ocean organisms piezophile. They live deep within the darkest ocean trenches. The Mariana Trench hosts many such unique species. Pressure there reaches 1,000 times atmospheric levels. At this extreme depth, ordinary cell membranes collapse. Piezophiles have adapted very unique internal cellular structures. Their cell walls contain special unsaturated fatty acids. These specific molecules keep the delicate cell membrane fluid. Without them, the membrane would freeze completely solid. Researchers isolated the first true piezophile in 1979. It was found at a depth of 10,000 meters. These specialized microbes cannot survive at the ocean surface. Brought to sea level, their tiny cells quickly burst. They literally require immense physical weight to hold together. Studying them requires specialized high-pressure titanium containment vessels. Scientists use thick titanium spheres to transport them safely. These bacteria process sunken carbon in the deep sea. They play a crucial role in the fact number 32 reveals life surviving intense nuclear radiation. Deinococcus radiodurans is a highly radiation-resistant bacterium species. Scientists discovered it inside a sterilized meat can. This occurred during food preservation experiments in 1956. The meat had been exposed to massive gamma radiation. Researchers assumed all living organisms were completely destroyed. Yet this specific pink bacterium survived the lethal dose. It can withstand 10,000 grays of ionizing radiation. For comparison, 5 grays would kill a human being. Radiation shatters the bacterial genome into hundreds of fragments. Most organisms cannot repair such catastrophic genetic damage. This bacterium possesses an incredibly efficient DNA repair mechanism. It reassembles its broken genome in just a few hours. The cells align the shattered DNA pieces in perfect order. Specialized proteins stitch the genetic sequence back together flawlessly. This microbe also survives extreme cold and severe dehydration. Scientists study it to improve nuclear waste disposal methods. Its repair enzymes might one day aid. Fact number 33 examines microbes living in hypersaline waters. Halophiles are organisms that require extremely high salt concentrations. They thrive in places like the famous Dead Sea. The Great Salt Lake also hosts massive halophile populations. These waters are up to 10 times saltier than oceans. Normal cells would rapidly lose water and shrivel up here. Osmotic pressure forces water out of unprotected biological tissues. Halophiles prevent this by accumulating potassium ions internally. This internal saltiness balances the external environmental pressure perfectly. Their cellular proteins are specially adapted to function in salt. Without high salt levels, their protein structures actually unfold. Many halophiles produce a distinct red or pink pigment. This pigment is called bacteriodopsin and absorbs pure sunlight. It converts solar energy directly into usable chemical energy. Large blooms of these microbes turn entire lakes pink. Some halophiles have survived inside salt crystals for centuries. Scientists have revived ancient microbes from deep geological salt. Fact number 34 focuses on life in highly acidic environments. Acidophils are microorganisms that thrive at very low pH levels. They flourish in environments with a pH below 3. Some extreme species even survive at a pH of 0. Spain contains a highly acidic river called the Rio Tinto. Its waters are bright red due to dissolved iron minerals. Acidophils in this river draw energy from oxidizing these minerals. They do not rely on sunlight for their energy needs. These microbes maintain a neutral internal pH despite their surroundings. Their cell membranes actively pump highly reactive protons outward continuously. This constant pumping prevents the acid from destroying internal structures. Specialized lipids in their cell walls provide a protective barrier. Mining operations often create artificial acidic environments called tailings ponds. Acidophils colonize these toxic pools almost immediately after formation. Industrial companies now use these bacteria for biomining operations globally. The microbes extract valuable copper and gold from raw. Fact number 35 explores organisms in highly alkaline natural settings. Alkalophiles require environments with a pH between 9 and 11. These conditions are similar to household bleach or liquid ammonia. Mono Lake in California is a famous alkaline environment. The lake water feels slippery due to high dissolved carbonates. Normal biological molecules break down rapidly in such basic solutions. RNA molecules typically degrade instantly under high alkaline conditions. Alkalophiles evolved unique enzymes that remain stable in basic water. They use sodium ions instead of protons for energy transfer. This adaptation bypasses the lack of available protons in bases. Their cell walls contain acidic polymers to repel harmful molecules. These microbes support an entire ecosystem in harsh alkaline lakes. Brine shrimp feed directly on these resilient alkaline bacteria populations. Millions of migratory birds then consume the abundant brine shrimp. Industrial manufacturers harvest alkalophile enzymes for commercial laundry detergents. These specific enzymes effectively break down stains in soapy water. They function perfectly within the highly alkaline washing. Fact number 36 uncovers life buried deep inside solid rock. Endoliths are microscopic organisms living within the Earth's rocky crust. They reside in microscopic pores and tiny mineral fractures. Scientists have found them 3 kilometers beneath the planetary surface. These deep subterranean environments lack any access to natural sunlight. Endoliths survive by consuming trace amounts of surrounding inorganic minerals. They extract essential carbon and energy from the solid rock. Their metabolic rates are incredibly slow compared to surface life. Some endoliths divide only once every few hundred years. This extreme longevity challenges our basic understanding of biological lifespans. They survive on the absolute minimum energy required for life. Subsurface temperatures rise significantly the deeper these organisms go. They must endure both extreme heat and intense geological pressure. The total mass of endoliths might exceed all surface life. A vast hidden biosphere exists right beneath our feet. Astrobiologists study endoliths to prepare for future Mars exploration. Fact number 37 details microbes thriving in extreme freezing temperatures. Psychrophiles are organisms adapted to survive in permanent icy environments. They inhabit Antarctic glacier and deep frozen permafrost regions. Temperatures in these locations consistently remain well below freezing. At these temperatures, normal cellular water forms sharp ice crystals. These expanding crystals typically puncture and destroy delicate cell membranes. Psychrophiles produce special antifreeze proteins to prevent internal ice formation. These proteins bind to small ice crystals and stop their growth. Their cell membranes contain high levels of flexible polyunsaturated fats. This keeps the cellular boundary fluid even in deep cold. Scientists discovered active microbes deep within Antarctic Lake Vostok. This subglacial lake has been sealed by ice for millennia. The microbes survive in thin liquid veins between ice crystals. They process tiny amounts of nutrients trapped in the ice. Researchers have revived psychrophiles frozen for over 100,000 years. These ancient organisms simply resume their cellular functions upon fact number 38 examines life flourishing in boiling hot water. Thermophiles are microorganisms that prefer temperatures above 60 degrees Celsius. Hyperthermophiles can survive temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Celsius. They inhabit boiling hot springs and deep ocean hydrothermal vents. Yellowstone National Park is famous for its colorful thermophile communities. The Grand Prismatic Spring displays vivid rings of living microbes. Different temperature zones support entirely different species of colorful bacteria. High heat normally causes biological proteins to denature and unfold. Thermophile proteins contain extra chemical bonds for structural stability. These strong molecular bridges prevent the proteins from melting apart. Their DNA is tightly coiled to resist heat-induced genetic damage. A famous thermophile called Thermus aquaticus revolutionized modern genetic science. Scientists isolated its heat-resistant DNA polymerase enzyme in 1969. This enzyme enables the rapid copying of DNA in laboratories. It is the foundation of the polymerase chain reaction technique. Without this extreme microbe, modern genetic testing would be fact number 39 introduces microbes surviving toxic heavy metal exposure. Metallotolerant organisms thrive in environments laced with lethal metallic elements. They live in soils heavily contaminated with lead and zinc. Some species easily tolerate high levels of arsenic and cadmium. These metals usually disrupt enzyme functions in normal biological cells. Heavy metals bind to cellular proteins and destroy their structure. Metallotolerant microbes have evolved clever strategies to neutralize these threats. Some bacteria actively pump the toxic metals out of their cells. Others produce special compounds that bind safely to the metals. This binding process transforms dangerous elements into harmless solid particles. Cupriovidus metalligerans is a fascinating bacterium found in heavy metals. It actually consumes toxic liquid gold compounds from its environment. The microbe then processes these compounds and excretes solid gold. Microscopic gold nuggets literally accumulate on the outside of its cell. Scientists are studying this process to improve environmental cleanup efforts. These microbes could potentially detoxify heavily polluted industrial. Fact number 40 focuses on organisms mastering multiple extreme conditions. Polyextremophiles survive several different lethal environmental factors at once. A microbe living in an acidic hot spring is one example. It must simultaneously survive boiling temperatures and highly corrosive acid. Deinococcus radiodurans is also a famous and resilient polyextremophile. It resists extreme cold, severe dehydration, acid, and nuclear radiation. Tardigrades, or water bears, are microscopic animals with similar traits. They survive boiling water, solid ice, and the vacuum of space. Tardigrades enter a suspended state called cryptobiosis to survive extremes. They expel almost all water from their tiny biological bodies. Their metabolism drops to less than 1% of normal. Special proteins form a protective glass-like matrix inside their cells. This matrix protects their delicate DNA from permanent environmental damage. When conditions improve, they simply rehydrate and resume normal life. Polyextremophiles prove that life is incredibly stubborn and highly adaptable. They are the primary candidates for surviving interplanetary space. Fact number 41 reveals the secrets of deep marine tardigrades. These microscopic animals are often called resilient water bears. They measure only about half a millimeter in length. Scientists have found them living in deep marine sediments. They can endure pressures up to 6,000 atmospheres. This is 6 times greater than the Mariana Trench. To survive, they enter a state called extreme cryptobiosis. Their metabolic rate drops to less than 1%. They expel almost all the water from their tiny bodies. A special protein protects their cellular structures from collapsing. This unique protein turns their internal fluids into glass. They can remain in this suspended state for decades. Once conditions improve, they rehydrate and resume normal life. Researchers discovered marine tardigrades in the early 20th century. They remain a subject of intense scientific fascination today. Their resilience challenges our understanding of strict biological limits. We still do not fully understand their. Fact number 42 explains the extreme adaptations of piezophile. Piezophile are microbes that require extreme pressure to grow. They thrive at depths exceeding 3,000 dark meters. Surface pressure actually causes these delicate organisms to die. Their cell membranes are uniquely adapted to the deep. Normal cell membranes become rigid under high water pressure. Piezophiles solve this by using unsaturated fatty acid chains. They incorporate omega-3 acids into their flexible lipid bilayers. This keeps their cell walls fluid and highly flexible. Without this adaptation, nutrient transport would completely stop forever. Scientists first isolated a true piezophile in 1979. The rare sample came from a depth of 5,000 meters. The microbe was named Colwellia cyclorythria by its discoverers. It grows best at about 400 ocean atmospheres. Researchers use specialized titanium chambers to study them safely. These chambers maintain deep ocean pressures in the laboratory. Observing them requires thick sapphire glass observation viewing ports. Their existence proves life adapts to. Fact number 43 explores the toxicity of underwater lakes. Deep ocean brine pools host highly specialized extremophile communities. These underwater lakes form in depressions on the seafloor. The water inside them is extremely dense and salty. Salinity levels can reach 4 times that of seawater. This heavy brine does not mix with the ocean above. It creates a distinct visible surface beneath the waves. The pools are completely devoid of precious dissolved oxygen. They are highly toxic to most normal marine life. Yet, specific halophilic bacteria thrive along their dark shores. These microbes process toxic methane and deadly hydrogen sulfide. Mussels line the edges of these underwater toxic lakes. The mussels rely on symbiotic bacteria in their gills. Scientists discovered the first brine pool in 1990. It was located deep within the Gulf of Mexico. Researchers named this strange feature the Jacuzzi of Despair. The temperature inside can reach 19 degrees warm Celsius. This is much warmer than the fact number 44 uncovers the hidden life of endoliths. Endoliths are organisms living entirely inside solid rock formations. They inhabit the Earth's crust beneath the deep ocean. These microbes squeeze into microscopic pores within basaltic rocks. They survive in environments with virtually no available nutrients. Endoliths extract their energy directly from surrounding ancient minerals. They consume iron, potassium, and sulfur from the stone. Their metabolism operates at an incredibly slow biological pace. Some endoliths divide only once every 10,000 years. They represent the slowest living organisms on our planet. Scientists drill deep into the seafloor to find them. In 2013, researchers found them in oceanic crust. The samples came from hundreds of meters below the seabed. These microbes exist in a state of near-suspended animation. They endure temperatures up to 120 degrees Celsius. The pressure inside the solid rock is absolutely immense. Their presence suggests life could exist inside Martian rocks. They quietly endure the slow passage. Fact number 45 examines radiation-consuming deep-sea microbes. Radiotrophic microorganisms can survive extreme doses of ionizing radiation. Some deep-sea microbes exhibit this remarkable survival trait. They use melanin to capture energy from radioactive decay. This process is similar to photosynthesis in green plants. Instead of sunlight, they harvest highly dangerous gamma rays. The melanin pigment absorbs the harmful radiation completely safely. It then converts this energy into useful chemical fuel. Scientists found similar organisms inside the ruined Chernobyl reactor. In the deep ocean, they gather near radioactive vents. Some ocean floor sediments contain naturally occurring radioactive isotopes. These microbes thrive in these highly toxic sediment layers. A bacterium called Deinococcus radiodurans shares this extreme resistance. It can survive radiation doses 3,000 times lethal levels. It repairs its shattered DNA in just a few hours. Deep-sea radiotrophs likely use similar DNA repair mechanisms. They evolved these traits to survive extreme desiccation initially. Radiation resistance was simply a fortunate. Fact number 46 details the biology of cold seeps. Cold seeps host vast communities of methane-consuming microbes. These areas occur where hydrocarbon fluids leak from the seafloor. Unlike hydrothermal vents, the water here is freezing cold. The temperature hovers just above the absolute freezing point. Methanogenic archaea dominate these strange deep ocean biological ecosystems. They survive by oxidizing methane escaping from the crust. They work together with specialized sulfate-reducing marine bacteria. This biological partnership is called syntrophy by marine biologists. They process over 80% of the emitted methane. This prevents a massive greenhouse gas from reaching the atmosphere. Without them, the Earth's climate would be drastically warmer. Massive structures of methane hydrate ice form around them. Tube worms and clams gather around these thick microbial mats. Scientists discovered the first cold seep in 1984. They found it deep within the Gulf of Mexico. These stable ecosystems can last for thousands of years. The slow fluid release provides a highly fact number 47 investigates oil-degrading thermophiles of Guaymas. The Guaymas basin contains unique oil-degrading extremophile microbes. This basin sits deep in the Gulf of California. Hydrothermal activity here cooks thick layers of organic sediment. This intense geological heating creates natural deep-sea petroleum. The water temperature at the vents exceeds 300 degrees. Specialized thermophilic bacteria thrive in this toxic oily environment. They actually consume the heavy petroleum compounds for energy. These microbes break down complex hydrocarbons in total darkness. They survive in fluids that would kill normal marine life. Scientists study them to understand natural oil spill remediation. The microbes operate efficiently without any dissolved oxygen present. They use sulfate from the seawater to process the oil. Researchers collected samples from these vents in 2000. They cultured the bacteria in high-pressure laboratory vessels. The microbes multiplied rapidly when fed natural crude oil. They form thick orange mats across the boiling seafloor. These mats provide a foundation for other fact number 48 describes the metal-eating rustical bacteria. Iron oxidizing bacteria slowly consume deep ocean steel shipwrecks. These extremophiles extract energy directly from degrading metallic iron. They thrive in the freezing, high-pressure dark abyssal zone. The most famous example lives on the sunken RMS Titanic. Scientists named this microbe Halomonas titanici in 2010. These specific bacteria form massive structures known as deep rusticles. Rusticles look like long, orange icicles hanging from the metal. They are actually highly complex and dense microbial apartment complexes. Inside, water channels transport nutrients to millions of bacteria. The microbes slowly dissolve the steel hull of the ship. They consume hundreds of pounds of iron every single day. Eventually, they will completely devour the sunken ocean liner. Researchers estimate the Titanic will vanish by 2050. These bacteria also consume natural iron deposits on the seafloor. They play a crucial role in the global iron cycle. They recycle heavy metals back into fact number 49 introduces the giant single-celled xenophyrophores. Xenophyrophores are giant single-celled organisms of the deep. They are the largest known individual cells on Earth. Some specimens grow to 20 centimeters in total diameter. They thrive in the extreme depths of the Mariana Trench. Scientists have found them at depths of 10,000 meters. They survive immense pressure and near absolute freezing temperatures. These strange creatures build delicate shells from ocean debris. They glue sand, shells, and radiolarian skeletons firmly together. Their internal structure contains a complex network of branching tubes. Multiple nuclei float freely within their single massive cell. They extract organic particles from the surrounding muddy sediment. Xenophyrophores also accumulate high concentrations of dangerous heavy metals. They store toxic levels of lead, uranium, and mercury. Researchers do not know how they survive this extreme toxicity. They are incredibly fragile and difficult to study intact. Bringing them to the surface usually destroys their delicate structure. They resemble strange, dark sponges sitting on fact number 50 quantifies the massive deep ocean biosphere. The deep marine biosphere contains an unimaginable amount of life. Microbes buried beneath the seafloor represent massive biological weight. Scientists estimate they hold billions of tons of carbon. This mass rivals the total biomass of all surface plants. These subterranean extremophiles live in solid rock and compacted mud. They survive extreme pressure, intense heat, and absolute total darkness. The deep biosphere extends kilometers beneath the ocean floor. Researchers call this hidden subterranean world the dark energy biosphere. Life here moves at a staggeringly slow geological pace. Cellular processes take centuries rather than mere passing minutes. This massive ecosystem operates completely independently of the Sun. It relies entirely on the Earth's internal chemical heat. Scientists formally mapped this deep biosphere in 2018. The mapping project took 10 years of continuous ocean drilling. Hundreds of scientists from 52 countries participated in the study. They discovered millions of distinct, previously unknown microbial species. This vast underground world changes our perspective on life. The majority of Earth's microbes live. Fact number 51. Tardigrades can survive the harsh vacuum of space. These microscopic animals are often called water bears. They measure about 0.5 millimeter in length. In 2007, scientists launched them into orbit. The mission was called the Photon M3 spacecraft project. The tardigrades face direct solar ultraviolet radiation exposure. They also endured the complete vacuum of space. This harsh exposure lasted for 10 full days. Most organisms would die instantly in these conditions. The water bears entered a state called cryptobiosis. They expelled almost all water from their bodies. Their metabolism slowed to less than 1%. Upon returning to Earth, they were carefully rehydrated. 68% of the specimens survived the ordeal. They even went on to reproduce completely normally. Their complex DNA contains unique damage suppressor protective proteins. These proteins shield their genetic material from destruction. This resilience expands our definition of habitable zones. It hints that life might cross interstellar space. Panspermia theories gain credibility. Fact number 52. A specific bacterium can survive extreme gamma radiation. Its formal scientific name is simply Deinococcus radiodurans. Research scientists first discovered it in 1956. They were trying to sterilize meat using radiation. This bacterium survived doses meant to kill everything. It can withstand up to 15,000 grays. 10 grays would be lethal to a human. The radiation shatters the bacterial genome into fragments. Most cells cannot recover from such catastrophic damage. This unique organism possesses an extraordinary repair mechanism. It reassembles its broken DNA within mere hours. Multiple copies of its genome are stored safely. These copies act as templates for precise reconstruction. The cell uses manganese ions to protect proteins. These proteins do the actual work of rebuilding. Researchers studied this microbe for nuclear waste cleanup. It could potentially consume toxic solvents in reactors. Its abilities show life's incredible capacity for healing. Such mechanisms might exist on fact number 53. The Dead Sea hosts incredibly resilient salt-loving microbes. Scientists officially call these extreme biological organisms halophiles. The water here is 10 times saltier than oceans. Local salinity levels reach up to 34%. Such high salt concentrations usually draw water out. Normal cells would quickly shrivel and die here. Halophiles accumulate potassium ions inside their cell walls. This internal pressure balances the external salt levels. They prevent their own dehydration through this mechanism. These microbes often produce distinctive red or purple pigments. The pigments absorb sunlight to generate cellular energy. In 1992, researchers found ancient halophile spores. They were trapped inside salt crystals for millennia. Some spores were dated to 200 million years. Scientists successfully revived them in a laboratory setting. This implies life can pause for geological eras. Mars has similar dried salt beds on its surface. These terrestrial microbes guide our search for Martian biology. Salt might be the ultimate preservative. Fact number 54. Life thrives deep inside solid continental crust rocks. These unique rock-dwelling organisms are known as endoliths. They live in microscopic fractures within the stone. Researchers found them 3 kilometers below the surface. A gold mine in South Africa provided the samples. This deep environment lacks absolutely any natural sunlight. Photosynthesis is entirely impossible at these great depths. Instead, they rely on chemical reactions for energy. Radioactive decay in the surrounding rock splits water. This process releases hydrogen gas into the fractures. The deep endoliths consume this hydrogen to survive. Their basic metabolic rates are almost incredibly slow. Some may only divide once every 1,000 years. They are essentially living on a geological timescale. The rock temperatures here exceed 60 degrees Celsius. Pressure is hundreds of times higher than above. This deep biosphere might contain vast biological mass. It could rival all life on the surface. Planets without atmospheres might harbor similar deep ecosystems. Subsurface rock provides a fact number 55. Some surprisingly complex animals live entirely without oxygen. Marine scientists discovered them in the Mediterranean Sea. The year of this breakthrough was 2010. They were originally found in the Latalanti Basin. This basin is highly saline and completely anoxic. Toxic hydrogen sulfide saturates the deep water here. The creatures belong to a group called loriciferans. They are microscopic animals with protective outer shells. Before this, only viruses and bacteria survived anoxia. All known animals relied on mitochondria for energy. Normal mitochondria absolutely require oxygen to function properly. These tiny loriciferans lack cellular mitochondria almost completely. They possess unique cellular organelles called hydrogenosomes instead. These structures generate energy without using any oxygen. They use the abundant hydrogen sulfide as fuel. This shocking discovery rewrote our fundamental biological textbooks. It proved multicellular life can exist in toxic environments. Early Earth oceans were similarly devoid of oxygen. These tiny creatures offer a glimpse into the past. They show how ancient animals. Fact number 56. Microbes actively live within solid Antarctic glacier ice. These extreme cold-loving organisms are scientifically called psychrophiles. They survive in microscopic veins of liquid water. These liquid veins exist between solid ice crystals. Temperatures here drop to -20 degrees Celsius. Standard cellular fluids would freeze solid at this point. Ice crystals would normally rupture the delicate cell membranes. Extremophiles produce special antifreeze proteins to prevent this. These proteins bind to small ice crystals instantly. They stop the ice from growing any larger. Their cell membranes are rich in unsaturated fats. This keeps the membrane flexible in extreme cold. They metabolize incredibly slowly in the frozen dark. Researchers found them under 3,000 meters of ice. Lake Vostok provided some of these fascinating samples. The lake has been isolated for millions of years. Icy moons like Europa might host similar organisms. Their survival proves cold does not mean sterile. Life finds a way to fact number 57. Mono Lake in California harbors unique alkaline life. The water is naturally rich in dissolved carbonates. Its pH level reaches a staggering 10.0. This is roughly as alkaline as household glass cleaner. Most living cells dissolve quickly in such basic conditions. Lipid membranes break apart when exposed to high alkalinity. Organisms thriving here are officially known as alkalophiles. They maintain a neutral pH strictly inside their cells. Specialized protein pumps in their membranes work constantly. These pumps actively push harmful hydroxide ions out. They pull protective hydrogen ions into the cell. Mono Lake is also saturated with toxic arsenic. In 2010, a controversial discovery emerged. Researchers eventually found a bacterium named GFAJ01 here. It seemed to substitute arsenic for phosphorus in DNA. Later studies proved it still strictly required phosphorus. However, its toxic arsenic resistance remains scientifically astounding. It isolates the toxic metal into safe cellular compartments. Alkaline environments often mirror conditions fact number 58. Some microbes thrive in exceptionally acidic hot springs. One highly notable species is called Picrophilus torridus. Scientists isolated it from soils in northern Japan. The soil was heated by active volcanic vents. This unusual organism is considered an extreme acidophile. It grows best at a pH of 0.7. This acidity is comparable to strong battery acid. It can even survive at a negative pH level. Human skin would suffer severe chemical burns here. The microbe uses a highly impermeable cell membrane. This barrier stops the acid from entering the cell. Its internal pH stays around 4.6. If the environment becomes neutral, the cell actually dies. The membrane completely disintegrates without the surrounding acid. Its proteins fold perfectly only in high acid conditions. The genome of this species is remarkably small. It contains only 1.5 million base pairs. A large portion of its genes focus on proton transport. This genetic efficiency allows survival fact number 59. Deep ocean cold seeps host methane-eating microbial communities. These areas leak natural gas from the seafloor. The local water temperature remains near freezing year-round. Natural sunlight never reaches these deep abyssal plains. Specialized archaea live in the freezing methane streams. They are formally known as deep methanotrophic archaea. They consume the escaping methane gas for energy. They always work together with local sulfate-reducing bacteria. This vital biological partnership is officially called syntrophy. Neither organism can complete the chemical process alone. They physically attach to each other to share electrons. This process removes massive amounts of greenhouse gases. Without them, oceanic methane would enter our atmosphere. Global warming would accelerate drastically without their work. They form thick microbial mats on the dark seafloor. These mats support entire ecosystems of larger creatures. Ice worms and clams graze on these bacterial layers. The process leaves behind solid calcium carbonate rock. These rock formations create artificial reefs in the dark. Life literally builds structures from fact number 60. A toxic cave in Mexico holds bizarre bacterial formations. The location is formally called Cueva de Villa Luz. Hydrogen sulfide gas constantly fills the cave air. The gas rises from deep underground sulfur springs. Bacteria gather on the ceiling to consume this gas. They form dripping, highly slimy colonies called snotites. The unusual name comes from their mucus-like appearance. They closely resemble stalactites but are entirely biological. These bizarre colonies oxidize the hydrogen sulfide for energy. This chemical reaction produces sulfuric acid as waste. The acid drips steadily from the snotite tips. The dripping liquid has a pH of 0. It is acidic enough to burn through human clothing. This acid slowly dissolves the surrounding limestone cave walls. The bacteria literally carve their own habitat over time. Researchers must wear respirators to study this environment. A single breath of the toxic cave air is deadly. Yet these extreme microbes thrive in the toxic darkness. They grow up to a centimeter every few months. Similar biological cave formation might fact number 61 explores organisms living inside rocks. Scientists call these rock-dwelling microbes endolithic extremophiles. They inhabit the microscopic pores of solid geological formations. Researchers have found them 3 kilometers beneath the surface. Endoliths survive by consuming traces of iron and sulfur. Their metabolic rates are incredibly slow compared to surface life. Some endolithic microbes reproduce only once every 10,000 years. They draw minimal energy from slow radioactive decay in rocks. This subterranean biosphere contains immense amounts of carbon. Estimates suggest it holds 15 to 20 billion tons. That mass exceeds all human life on the surface combined. These microbes endure extreme pressure from the rock above. Temperatures at these depths often exceed 60 degrees Celsius. Water rarely reaches these isolated deep crustal communities. They extract moisture directly from the surrounding mineral structures. Studying them helps scientists understand potential life on fact number 62 examines animals living without oxygen. In 2010, scientists made a startling discovery. They found multicellular life in anoxic deep-sea basins. These creatures inhabit the Latalanti Basin in the Mediterranean. The basin lies 3,000 meters below the ocean surface. It contains a hypersaline brine pool completely lacking oxygen. Researchers discovered tiny animals called loricifrans thriving here. They measure slightly less than 1 millimeter in total length. Most complex life requires oxygen for cellular energy production. These unique loricifrans completely lack normal cellular mitochondria. They utilize specialized cellular organelles known as hydrogenosomes. These structures generate energy without using any oxygen molecules. This adaptation was previously seen only in single-celled microbes. Finding an animal with this ability rewrote biology textbooks. The brine pool environment resembles the early oceans of Earth. Billions of years ago, the oceans contained zero. Free fact number 63 focuses on extreme pressure survival. Microbes living in deep ocean trenches are called piezophile. The Mariana Trench exerts pressure exceeding 1,000 atmospheres. This equals 8 tons of weight per square inch. Normal cellular structures collapse under such immense physical forces. Standard biological membranes become solid and rigid like butter. Piezophiles prevent this by altering their cell membrane chemistry. They incorporate high levels of polyunsaturated fatty acids. These special fats keep the cell membranes fluid and flexible. The adaptation mirrors how antifreeze works in a car engine. Their internal proteins also feature unique structural folding patterns. Regular proteins denature and lose function under high pressure. Piezophilic proteins maintain their shape through strong internal chemical bonds. Some of these microbes cannot survive at normal surface pressure. Bringing them to sea level causes their cells to burst. Scientists must use pressurized chambers to study them in laboratories. The deepest known piezophile was found at 10,000. Fact number 64 introduces the concept of polyextremophiles. These organisms survive multiple extreme conditions at the same time. Deinococcus radiodurans is a famous example of a polyextremophile. It withstands massive doses of lethal ionizing radiation. A dose of 10 Gray kills a normal human being. This bacterium survives doses exceeding 15,000 Gray. Radiation shatters its genetic material into hundreds of fragments. The microbe possesses an incredibly efficient DNA repair mechanism. It reassembles its broken genome perfectly within a few hours. Besides radiation, it survives extreme cold and severe dehydration. Scientists found it in irradiated meat in the 50s. The bacterium also survives exposure to highly toxic chemicals. Its cell wall contains multiple thick protective biological layers. Researchers study its enzymes to improve medical treatments. These repair proteins could help prevent human cellular aging. Polyextremophiles demonstrate the incredible resilience of biological life forms. They often inhabit the most hostile environments. On fact number 65 examines life in freezing temperatures. Psychrophiles are extremophiles that thrive in extreme cold environments. They inhabit polar ice caps and deep glacial lakes. Lake Vostok lies hidden beneath 4 kilometers of Antarctic ice. The water temperature stays constantly below the normal freezing point. High pressure from the ice above keeps the water liquid. Microbes in this lake have been isolated for millions of years. Standard water inside cells forms deadly ice crystals when frozen. These sharp crystals easily puncture delicate internal cellular membranes. Psychrophiles produce specialized antifreeze proteins to prevent this damage. These proteins bind to small ice crystals as they form. This binding stops the crystals from growing any larger. Their enzymes are highly flexible to function in the cold. This flexibility allows metabolic reactions to continue at sub-zero temperatures. However, these cold-adapted enzymes are highly sensitive to heat. Warming them to room temperature destroys their delicate structural integrity. Scientists drill deep ice cores to retrieve these. Fact number 66 explores organisms in hypersaline environments. Halophiles require extremely high salt concentrations to survive. They thrive in places like the Great Salt Lake. The Dead Sea is another famous habitat for these microbes. These waters contain up to 10 times more salt than oceans. Normal cells lose all their water in salty environments. Osmosis pulls the water out, causing the cell to shrivel. Halophiles combat this by accumulating massive amounts of internal compounds. They store potassium ions and special amino acids inside their cells. This balances the osmotic pressure with the external salty environment. Many halophiles belong to the ancient domain of archaea. They often contain a reddish-purple pigment called bacteriodopsin. This unique pigment absorbs sunlight to generate cellular energy. It gives hypersaline lakes a striking pink or red color. Some halophiles survive trapped inside solid salt crystals for millennia. Scientists have revived microbes from 200-million-year-old salt. These ancient organisms entered a dormant. Fact number 67 investigates life in highly acidic waters. Acidophils thrive in environments with an extremely low pH level. The Rio Tinto River in Spain is a prime example. Its waters flow deep red due to dissolved iron minerals. The river maintains an average pH level of about 2. This acidity equals the strength of human stomach acid. Normal biological molecules break down rapidly in such harsh conditions. Acidophils maintain a neutral internal pH to protect their DNA. They actively pump acidic protons out of their cellular space. Their cell membranes are highly impermeable to external acid molecules. Many of these organisms extract energy by oxidizing heavy metals. They consume iron and sulfur compounds found in the rocks. This metabolic process actually produces more sulfuric acid as waste. The microbes actively contribute to the extreme acidity of their habitat. Mining operations often expose new sulfur deposits to these bacteria. This interaction causes a phenomenon known as acid mine drainage. Scientists study acidophils to develop better biomining extraction. Fact number 68 focuses on highly basic extreme environments. Alkalophiles flourish in habitats with a pH above 9. Mono Lake in California is a famous alkaline environment. The lake water feels slippery due to dissolved carbonate minerals. It is nearly 3 times as salty as the ocean. Alkalophiles face the opposite problem of their acid-loving cousins. They struggle to keep enough internal protons for energy production. Cellular energy relies on a steady flow of charged particles. A high external pH strips away these essential tiny protons. Alkalophiles solve this by using sodium ions instead of protons. They build specialized sodium pumps into their cellular membranes. This adaptation keeps their internal energy generation running smoothly. Their internal pH remains much lower than the outside environment. Many alkalophiles produce highly resilient enzymes for breaking down organic matter. Detergent companies use these specific enzymes in laundry washing powders. The enzymes clean clothes effectively in basic soapy water conditions. Some alkaline lakes host massive blooms. Fact number 69 examines microbes surviving heavy metal toxicity. High concentrations of metals like gold and lead destroy normal cells. Metallotolerant extremophiles possess unique mechanisms to handle this severe toxicity. Cupriovidus metalligerans is a fascinating bacterium found in toxic soils. It survives in environments heavily contaminated by industrial heavy metals. The microbe frequently encounters dissolved toxic gold compounds in the dirt. These liquid gold ions cause severe oxidative stress to cellular functions. The bacterium uses special enzymes to neutralize the toxic gold. It converts the dissolved ions into solid microscopic gold nanoparticles. The microbe essentially excretes tiny nuggets of pure solid gold. This process safely removes the dangerous heavy metal from its system. Scientists have observed these bacteria covering themselves in gold particles. They play a role in forming natural gold deposits over centuries. Other metallotolerant microbes can survive high levels of toxic arsenic. These organisms help clean up heavily polluted industrial mining sites. They absorb dangerous heavy metals from contaminated. Fact number 70 explores organisms that consume solid inorganic rock. These microbes are scientifically known as lithoautotrophic extreme organisms. They do not rely on sunlight or organic carbon sources. Instead, they extract their life energy directly from raw minerals. Many live deep within the porous basalt of the oceanic crust. Water circulates through the warm volcanic rock deep underwater. This interaction creates chemical reactions releasing hydrogen gas molecules. Lithoautotrophs consume this hydrogen along with dissolved carbon dioxide. They synthesize their own complex organic molecules from these simple ingredients. This process is called chemosynthesis instead of normal photosynthesis. These rock eaters form the base of a hidden food web. Lithoautotrophs likely represent one of the oldest forms of life. Early Earth lacked an oxygen-rich atmosphere and complex organic matter. The first organisms probably consumed minerals near ancient hydrothermal vents. These microbes exist miles beneath the ocean floor today. They slowly weather the rocks, changing the chemistry of the crust. Their activity influences the global cycling of carbon, and fact number 71 details extremely salty aquatic environments. Certain fascinating extremophiles thrive in intensely salty desert lakes. One incredible organism is known as Halobacterium salinarum. It easily survives in waters with incredibly high salinity. The local salt concentration often exceeds 25%. This level is far saltier than standard seawater. Normal ocean water averages about 3% salinity. This specific microbe possesses a unique purple membrane. The cellular membrane contains a protein called bacteriodopsin. This specialized protein absorbs sunlight to generate energy. It actively pumps protons across the cellular boundary. This action creates a vital electrochemical survival gradient. Scientists first isolated this ancient microbe in 1922. They originally discovered it inside salted fish products. Its internal cellular machinery requires high potassium levels. The internal potassium prevents the fragile cell from collapsing. Without external salt, the outer cell wall simply dissolves. Evaporating salt lakes provide the perfect stable environment. These microscopic organisms color entire lakes. A fact number 72 introduces a deep ocean survivor. Thermococcus littoralis lives near deep marine hydrothermal vents. Researchers first discovered this microbe in 1989. It thrives at temperatures around 98 degrees Celsius. The unique organism belongs to the ancient Archaea domain. It utilizes sulfur compounds to fuel its metabolism. The microbe produces a highly stable DNA polymerase. Scientists call this specific enzyme the vent polymerase. This enzyme remains active at extremely high temperatures. It survives boiling water for several consecutive hours. Researchers use this enzyme in genetic copying procedures. The polymerase chain reaction relies on such stability. Without it, DNA amplification would be incredibly difficult. The microbe dwells at depths exceeding 2,000 meters. Crushing pressure surrounds its volcanic deep-sea habitat. The vent fluids contain heavy metals and toxic gases. Yet the organism reproduces rapidly in these harsh conditions. It lacks a conventional rigid outer cell wall structure. Instead, a flexible protein layer protects its. Fact number 73 concerns highly acidic cave formations. Deep underground, certain bacteria form unusual dripping colonies. Researchers affectionately refer to these colonies as snotites. They resemble hanging stalactites made of viscous mucus. These structures exist in toxic hydrogen sulfide-rich caves. The bacteria oxidize hydrogen sulfide to produce cellular energy. This metabolic process generates sulfuric acid as a byproduct. The resulting liquid drips constantly from the cave ceiling. This dripping fluid holds a pH value near 0. It can also dissolve solid rock over several decades. The microbes thrive perfectly within this highly corrosive slime. They form complex biological mats along the dark walls. Scientists first documented these unique structures in 1998. The cave atmosphere remains lethal to most surface life. Toxic gas concentrations would quickly overwhelm a human explorer. Yet these acidophils build thriving underground biological communities. They represent a completely independent subterranean food web. Smaller organisms feed directly upon these acidic. Fact number 74 examines an extreme heat lover. Methanopyrus candleri holds the record for high-temperature survival. Scientists originally found it deep in the Gulf of California. The discovery occurred deep underwater in 1991. This microbe lives on the walls of black smokers. It actively reproduces at 122 degrees Celsius. This temperature far exceeds the normal boiling point of water. The intense ocean pressure prevents the water from boiling. The organism produces methane gas as a metabolic byproduct. It combines hydrogen gas with dissolved carbon dioxide. This chemical reaction provides all necessary energy for life. The microbe contains a unique form of topoisomerase enzyme. This enzyme actively overwinds the delicate DNA double helix. Overwinding prevents the genetic material from melting apart entirely. High intracellular salt concentrations also protect the vital proteins. The cell membrane contains specialized heat-resistant lipid molecules. These lipids maintain structural integrity under extreme thermal stress. Researchers consider this organism a. Fact number 75 highlights an organism loving hot acid. Picrophilus torridus is a remarkable thermoacidophilic single-celled microbe. This scientific finding took place in 1995. The surrounding soil constantly vents hot sulfurous volcanic gases. This microbe thrives at a pH of 0.06. This represents the most acidic growth environment ever recorded. The surrounding fluid is essentially concentrated boiling battery acid. The organism also prefers temperatures around 60 degrees Celsius. Its cell membrane remains completely stable in these conditions. If placed in neutral water, the cell quickly disintegrates. The membrane actively blocks protons from entering the cell. This keeps the internal cellular pH relatively close to neutral. Maintaining this internal balance requires continuous massive energy expenditure. The microbe possesses a remarkably small and compact genome. It contains only about 1.5 million base pairs. Nearly all its genes focus on survival and membrane maintenance. It consumes organic compounds found in the volcanic. Fact number 76 explores life deep inside solid rock. Endoliths are microscopic organisms living within tiny rock fractures. They exist miles beneath the continental surface of Earth. Scientists drill deep boreholes to study these hidden communities. Samples from 3 kilometers down reveal thriving bacterial populations. These microbes face total darkness and extreme crushing pressure. Nutrients remain incredibly scarce in this deep subterranean environment. Consequently, their biological metabolism slows down to a crawl. Some endoliths divide only once every 10,000 years. They consume trace minerals leached from the surrounding stone. Radioactive decay in rock splits underground water into hydrogen. The microbes use this hydrogen gas for chemical energy. This deep biosphere contains immense amounts of total biomass. It may exceed the mass of all surface marine life. These organisms can survive isolated for millions of years. Their slow life cycle makes them highly resistant to radiation. Damage to their DNA accumulates very slowly over millennia. They repair genetic errors with extreme precision, and fact number 77 introduces a master of extreme cold. Colwellia cycloerythria lives within frozen Arctic and Antarctic sea ice. Scientists isolated this cycrophilic bacterium from freezing marine sediments. The microbe secretes special proteins to prevent ice crystal formation. These antifreeze proteins protect the delicate internal cellular structures. Ice crystals would otherwise pierce the membrane and kill it. The organism maintains flexible cell membranes using polyunsaturated fatty acids. These specific fats prevent the membrane from stiffening in cold. The bacterium produces specialized enzymes known as cold-active enzymes. These enzymes complete chemical reactions efficiently at sub-zero temperatures. In laboratories, this microbe survives liquid nitrogen exposure easily. Liquid nitrogen sits at -196 degrees Celsius. The bacterium simply enters a dormant state of suspended animation. Upon gradual warming, it resumes normal swimming and feeding behavior. This organism plays a crucial role in polar carbon cycling. It recycles nutrients during the long dark polar winter. Fact number 78 focuses on complex life without oxygen. For decades, scientists believed animals required oxygen to survive. Only simple bacteria seemed capable of permanent anoxic existence. This assumption changed completely in the year 2010. Researchers explored the deep Latalanti basin in the Mediterranean Sea. This underwater lake consists of incredibly dense toxic salt brine. The brine contains absolutely zero dissolved oxygen for marine life. It is heavily saturated with poisonous hydrogen sulfide gas. Yet, scientists discovered tiny multicellular animals living permanently there. These creatures are microscopic marine invertebrates known as loricifrans. They possess a protective outer shell resembling a tiny corset. Instead of mitochondria, their cells contain structures called hydrogenosomes. These unique organelles generate energy entirely without using oxygen. They utilize the abundant hydrogen sulfide present in the brine. The animals reproduce and complete their entire life cycle down there. Their bodies measure only a few tenths of a millimeter. They cling tightly to the sediment. The fact number 79 examines microbes that consume pure electricity. Geobacter metallireducens is a fascinating iron-reducing bacterial species. Scientists discovered it in the mud of the Potomac River. This momentous scientific finding occurred in 1987. It breathes solid metal compounds instead of oxygen gas. The bacterium transfers excess electrons directly to iron oxide minerals. This electron transfer process effectively creates a tiny electrical current. The microbe grows long conductive protein filaments called microbial nanowires. These nanowires reach out to touch distant mineral deposits. Researchers harness this ability to build biological microbial fuel cells. These fuel cells generate clean electricity from organic wastewater. They can also process radioactive metals like toxic uranium waste. The microbes alter the uranium into a solid insoluble form. This prevents the dangerous radiation from spreading into groundwater supplies. These organisms form thick electrically conductive biofilms on metal surfaces. The entire bacterial colony shares electrical energy through the fact number 80 details an ultimate master of severe desiccation. Croococcidiopsis is an incredibly resilient type of primitive cyanobacteria. It survives in the driest, most forbidding deserts on Earth. Researchers find it inside rocks in the harsh Atacama Desert. This environment receives almost zero measurable rainfall for many years. The microbe hides just beneath the translucent surface of stones. The stone filters out harmful ultraviolet solar radiation effectively. During severe droughts, the bacterium completely dries out and sleeps. It replaces internal cellular water with a specialized sugar molecule. This sugar prevents the cellular machinery from collapsing during dehydration. The organism can remain in this dormant state for decades. When a rare raindrop falls, the cell rapidly rehydrates itself. It immediately repairs any accumulated DNA damage within a day. Photosynthesis resumes instantly to gather energy from the bright sun. Scientists consider this microbe a prime candidate for Mars colonization. Its ability to endure radiation and extreme dryness is unmatched. Future Space Fact number 81 describes a unique symbiotic partnership. The Pompeii worm hosts highly specialized extremophile bacteria. These microbes live directly on the worm's back. They survive extreme temperature gradients every single day. The worm lives near deep ocean hydrothermal vents. Its tail rests in extremely hot vent water. Temperatures at the tail reach 80 degrees Celsius. Its head stays in much cooler ocean water. The water near the head is 22 degrees. The bacteria form a thick fuzzy white coating. This dense coating protects the worm from heat. Marine scientists discovered this relationship in 1980. The bacteria secrete special protective thermal protein layers. These proteins absorb heavy metals from the vents. They also process toxic sulfur compounds very safely. Researchers currently study these enzymes for industrial uses. The symbiotic bond remains a true biological marvel. It shows how life adapts together in darkness. The microbes also feed the host worm directly. They convert raw minerals into usable organic carbon. This process is known as deep ocean chemosynthesis. The worm relies entirely on this bacterial food. It never needs. Fact number 82 introduces an incredibly resilient microbe. Marine researchers named this unique organism Thermococcus gametolerans. It lives deep within the dark Guaymas Basin. The basin sits in the Gulf of California. The water depth here reaches 2,000 meters. This microbe survives extreme doses of gamma radiation. It withstands 30,000 Gray of intense radiation. For comparison, 10 Gray is lethal to humans. The organism thrives at exactly 88 degrees Celsius. It repairs its damaged DNA within mere hours. Special enzymes quickly reconnect the broken genetic strands. Scientists found this microbe in 2003. Its radiation resistance remains a profound scientific mystery. There is no natural radiation at these depths. The trait likely evolved for a different reason. Perhaps it helps survive extreme heat and pressure. Heat also causes severe damage to fragile DNA. The repair mechanisms work for both environmental threats. Researchers hope to use these enzymes in medicine. They could help treat severe radiation exposure safely. This tiny microbe holds fact number 83: explores life inside solid rocks. Endoliths are microbes living beneath the ocean floor. They exist inside the actual mineral rock pores. These organisms survive miles below the ocean bottom. The pressure inside these rocks is absolutely crushing. Nutrients are incredibly scarce in this deep environment. Endoliths consume surrounding minerals to generate their energy. They often feed on iron or sulfur compounds. Their metabolism operates at an incredibly slow pace. Some cells divide only once every 1,000 years. This slow pace helps them conserve precious energy. Scientists drill deep ocean cores to study them. In 2010, they found ancient endoliths. These microbes lived in rocks millions of years old. They survive completely isolated from the sunlit world. Their existence redefines the boundaries of the biosphere. The Earth holds a massive hidden ecosystem underground. This deep biosphere contains billions of microbial tons. It represents a significant portion of global biomass. These quiet rock dwellers simply fact number 84 examines a completely independent organism. Its name translates to the bold traveler microbe. Scientists found it deep in subsurface fracture water. This environment mimics the deep ocean floor crust. It lives in absolute darkness without any oxygen. The surrounding temperature hovers around 60 degrees Celsius. This bacterium builds every organic molecule it needs. It does not rely on any other living species. It extracts carbon directly from dissolved carbon dioxide. Nitrogen comes from ammonia in the surrounding rock. The microbe uses radioactive decay for its energy. Uranium in rock splits water into hydrogen gas. The bacterium consumes this hydrogen to survive quietly. It contains all necessary genes in one genome. Researchers sequenced its entire genome in 2008. It operates as a true single-species ecosystem. Such autonomy is incredibly rare in the biosphere. It shows how life could survive on Mars. Deep subsurface oceans elsewhere might host similar life. The bold traveler drifts slowly. Fact number 85 involves internal microscopic compass needles. Magnetotactic bacteria live in dark, deep marine sediments. They contain tiny magnetic crystals inside their cells. These crystals are made of magnetite or gragite. The microbes align themselves with Earth's magnetic field. This alignment helps them navigate through muddy environments. They seek areas with very specific oxygen levels. Deep ocean sediments have complex chemical gradient layers. The magnetic crystals guide them up or down. They swim along the invisible magnetic field lines. Scientists first observed this behavior in 1975. The internal compasses are perfectly shaped and aligned. Each crystal measures about 50 nanometers in length. They form a straight chain inside the bacterium. This chain acts like a tiny steering wheel. When the microbes die, their crystals remain behind. These tiny fossils sink into the ocean floor. They create a permanent record of magnetic history. Geologists use these fossils to study ancient oceans. The bacteria unknowingly record the fact number 86 focuses on extreme acid tolerance. Picrophilus torridus thrives in highly acidic marine environments. It lives near shallow volcanic hydrothermal vent systems. The water here contains massive amounts of sulfuric acid. This microbe prefers a pH level near zero. Such acidity would quickly dissolve standard human skin. It grows best at exactly 60 degrees Celsius. The organism maintains a neutral internal cellular pH. Its cell membrane is incredibly dense and impermeable. This barrier prevents deadly acid from rushing inside. If the environment becomes neutral, the cell dissolves. It actually requires extreme acid to stay intact. Scientists sequenced its small genome in 2004. It has the smallest genome of non-parasitic microbes. Most of its energy goes to pumping protons. It constantly expels acid particles from its interior. This continuous pumping requires an enormous energy supply. The microbe consumes organic matter in the water. It cleans up toxic environments through its digestion. These acid lovers quietly maintain fact number 87 introduces a metal-eating microbe. Scientists discovered Halomonas titanicae on a famous shipwreck. It lives on the sunken remains of the Titanic. The wreck sits at 3,800 meters deep. The water pressure here is utterly crushing and dark. This bacterium survives by consuming solid iron structures. It extracts energy directly from the rusting metal. The microbes form massive rustic layers on the ship. These rustic layers look like dark orange icicle formations. They are actually complex communities of living microbes. Researchers identified this specific strain in 2010. The bacteria are slowly dissolving the historic ocean liner. They recycle the heavy iron back into the ocean. Other deep-sea organisms eventually use this dissolved iron. This recycling process is vital for marine ecosystems. It prevents metal debris from accumulating forever underwater. The Titanic will eventually disappear completely into dust. These extremophiles show nature reclaims all human creations. They work silently in the freezing deep. Fact number 88 explores deadly underwater brine pools. These pools form in depressions on the seafloor. They contain water that is extremely dense and salty. The salinity is often 5 times ocean average. This heavy water does not mix with regular seawater. It creates a distinct lake beneath the ocean surface. Most marine animals die instantly if they enter. The toxic shock destroys their delicate cellular structures. However, specialized extremophiles thrive inside these dense pools. They are called halophiles, meaning salt-loving organisms. They balance their internal pressure using special molecules. These molecules prevent their cells from completely collapsing. The pools also lack any dissolved oxygen gas. The microbes use alternative chemicals to breathe underwater. Some pools in the Red Sea are intensely hot. Temperatures can reach a blistering 60 degrees Celsius. The halophiles survive both extreme salt and extreme heat. They form colorful microscopic mats along the pool edges. These silent lakes remain some of Earth's. Fact number 89 examines life within freezing ice. Cold seeps release methane gas from the ocean floor. The extreme pressure and cold create methane clathrates. These are cage-like structures of solid water ice. They trap the rising methane gas inside them. Special extremophile microbes live directly on this ice. They are called methanogens and methanotrophs by scientists. They consume the trapped methane as their primary food. The water temperature hovers just above the freezing point. These microbes possess special enzymes adapted for extreme cold. Regular proteins would freeze and stop working here. Their flexible enzymes continue operating at 2 degrees Celsius. They prevent massive amounts of methane from escaping. Methane is a very potent global warming greenhouse gas. These tiny organisms protect the global climate system. They form the base of the cold seep ecosystem. Ice worms and clams feed on these bacterial mats. The discovery of this ecosystem shocked marine biologists. Life flourishes on burning ice. In fact number 90 reveals the ultimate heat champion. Methanopyrus candleri holds the record for heat tolerance. Scientists discovered it in the Kyre hydrothermal vent field. This field lies deep in the central Indian Ocean. The depth exceeds 2,400 meters below sea. Researchers isolated a specific variant called strain 116. This microbe survives at 122 degrees. This temperature is significantly above water's normal boiling point. The intense ocean pressure keeps the water completely liquid. The microbe requires at least 80 degrees to grow. It produces methane gas as a natural metabolic byproduct. Its cellular structure contains unique heat-resistant salt compounds. These salts stabilize its delicate DNA at extreme temperatures. The organism completely lacks a standard rigid cell wall. Instead, it has a flexible protective outer lipid envelope. This envelope prevents the cell from melting away completely. Scientists cultivated it in a high-pressure laboratory autoclave. It continued multiplying despite the intense artificial sterilization heat. This resilient microbe redefines the absolute thermal fact number 91. Scientists discovered a remarkable organism in 2003. They named it Thermococcus gametolerans. Researchers found it in the Guaymas Basin. This location sits 2,000 meters below the surface. The organism thrives in extreme radiation. It can survive 30,000 grays of gamma rays. A dose of 5 grays is lethal to humans. This microbe constantly rebuilds its own shattered genome. Enzymes quickly fuse broken DNA strands back together. This environment lacks natural radioactive elements. Scientists remain puzzled by this extreme radiation resistance. The trait likely evolved as a secondary survival mechanism. It helps the microbe survive intense heat and pressure. Heat also damages DNA in similar ways to radiation. The organism repairs heat damage using the same enzymes. This discovery expanded our view of cellular resilience. The microbe grows best at 88 degrees Celsius. Fact number 92. A massive biosphere exists beneath the ocean floor. Scientists call this the deep subsea floor biosphere. The ocean drilling program revealed this hidden world. Researchers extracted core samples in the 1990s. They drilled hundreds of meters into solid basalt. Microbes live within the tiny cracks of oceanic crust. This subterranean ecosystem spans the entire global ocean. It contains up to 23 billion tons of carbon. Microbes here live at an incredibly slow pace. Some cells divide only once every 1,000 years. They consume trace amounts of hydrogen and carbon dioxide. The energy available here is almost non-existent. Yet these organisms persist through deep geologic time. They survive extreme pressure and complete darkness. Their metabolism operates near the absolute thermodynamic limits. Scientists study them to understand biological fact number 93. Geoglobus ahangari is a fascinating deep-sea archaean. Researchers discovered it in 2002. They found it in the Guaymas Basin hydrothermal vents. This microbe thrives at 85 degrees Celsius. It does not use oxygen to generate energy. Instead, it breathes solid iron minerals. The organism transfers electrons directly to iron oxide. This process converts the solid mineral into dissolved iron. It is the first archaean known to do this. The microbe uses hydrogen gas as its food source. Hydrogen bubbles up constantly from the volcanic vents. This iron-breathing mechanism is incredibly ancient. Early Earth oceans contained massive amounts of dissolved iron. Geoglobus ahangari gives us a glimpse into the past. The organism forms thin biofilms on deep-sea rocks. These biofilms coat the chimneys of hydrothermal vents. Scientists grow this microbe in specialized pressurized fact number 94. Maranitiga piezophila is a highly specialized deep-sea bacterium. It was discovered in 2004. Researchers found it along the East Pacific Rise. The discovery site lies 2,600 meters deep. This microbe is both piezophilic and thermophilic. This means it loves both high pressure and heat. It grows perfectly at 65 degrees Celsius. It requires a pressure of 400 atmospheres. The organism cannot survive at normal surface pressures. Its cell membrane falls apart without the crushing weight. The bacterium ferments complex organic molecules for energy. This process releases hydrogen sulfide into the water. Other vent organisms then use this chemical byproduct. Maranitiga piezophila forms a crucial link in the food web. Its enzymes are adapted to function under immense strain. The proteins fold tightly to resist the deep pressure. Scientists study these proteins for industrial fact number 95. The Lost City hydrothermal field hosts unique extremophiles. Scientists discovered this site in the year 2000. It sits 800 meters below the Atlantic surface. The chimneys here are made of white calcium carbonate. They differ entirely from black smoker volcanic vents. The water here is extremely alkaline. The pH level reaches up to 11. This is similar to household ammonia or bleach. Temperatures range from 40 to 90 degrees Celsius. A geological process called serpentinization drives this ecosystem. Seawater reacts chemically with mantle rocks beneath the crust. This reaction produces large amounts of hydrogen gas. Microbes capture this hydrogen to fuel their metabolism. They combine it with carbon dioxide to make methane. These organisms survive without any sunlight or volcanic heat. They rely purely on slow chemical rock reactions. Single-celled archaea dominate the hottest parts of the chimneys. Bacteria form thick white mats in the cooler areas. This environment may resemble the birthplace of fact number 96. The Atlantis Too Deep is a deep-sea brine pool. It lies at the bottom of the Red Sea. Scientists first mapped it in 1965. The pool sits 2,100 meters below the waves. The water here is exceptionally hot and salty. Temperatures reach exactly 68 degrees Celsius. The salinity level is 26%. This is 7 times saltier than normal seawater. The brine is completely devoid of dissolved oxygen. It contains high concentrations of toxic heavy metals. Yet specialized halophilic microbes thrive in this toxic soup. They use sulfur and iron compounds to produce energy. Their cell walls prevent the extreme salt from entering. Special proteins pump sodium ions back into the environment. The pool forms an underwater lake on the seafloor. It has a distinct surface where brine meets seawater. Microbes congregate exactly at this dense chemical boundary layer. They capture nutrients slowly sinking from fact number 97. Paleococcus pacificus is a remarkable deep-sea microbe. It was isolated in the year 2000. Researchers found it near the East Pacific Rise. The collection depth was 2,600 meters. This archaean thrives in extremely hot water. Its optimal growth temperature is 80 degrees Celsius. It belongs to a very ancient lineage of life. The organism produces highly unusual lipid molecules. These lipids form a nearly impenetrable cell membrane. This membrane prevents the cell from melting in heat. It also protects against the crushing deep-sea pressure. Paleococcus pacificus consumes complex proteins for energy. It releases ammonium as a metabolic waste product. The microbe swims using a bundle of flagella. These tiny whip-like tails propel it through hot water. Scientists use deep-sea submersibles to collect these specimens. The samples must be kept under constant high pressure. Bringing them to the surface requires specialized fact number 98. Viruses play a crucial role in deep-sea ecosystems. They are the most abundant biological entities underwater. A single milliliter of deep water contains millions. These viruses specifically target deep-sea extremophiles. They are known as bacteriophages or simply phages. They outnumber bacterial cells by 10 to 1. Viruses control the population of deep-sea microbes. They infect and burst open older bacterial cells. This process is called the viral shunt. It releases trapped carbon back into the deep ocean. Other surviving microbes then consume this released organic matter. This recycling keeps the deep-sea food web functioning. Without viruses, deep ocean nutrients would become locked away. These deep-sea viruses are incredibly diverse. They can survive extreme pressure and near-freezing temperatures. Some viruses remain dormant inside their hosts for years. They wait for the perfect environmental conditions to multiply. Scientists only recently began mapping this deep fact number 99. Methanopyrus candleri strain 116 is legendary. It holds the record for high-temperature survival. Scientists discovered this strain in 2008. They found it on the central Indian Ridge. The vent sits 2,400 meters deep. This microbe reproduces at 122 degrees Celsius. This temperature is far above the normal boiling point. The immense ocean pressure keeps the water entirely liquid. The organism produces methane gas as a metabolic byproduct. It lives in the hottest margins of black smokers. The microbe has a unique genetic makeup. Its DNA contains a high concentration of specific salts. These salts prevent the double helix from separating. Special enzymes constantly repair heat-induced genetic damage. This discovery pushed the known thermal limits of life. It proved that biology can exist in superheated fluids. Scientists believe this is the absolute upper temperature limit. Any hotter, and essential amino acids instantly fact number 100. Deep-sea extremophiles might explain the origin of life. Scientists trace life's roots back 3.8 billion years. Early Earth was a harsh and violent place. The surface was bombarded by deadly ultraviolet radiation. The deep ocean offered a safe and stable refuge. Alkaline hydrothermal vents provided the perfect chemical nursery. These vents featured natural microscopic compartments in the rock. These tiny rocky pores acted as the first cells. They concentrated organic molecules over thousands of years. The vents created natural proton gradients across the rock. The last universal common ancestor likely lived here. Scientists call this ancient organism Leuca. Leuca was a heat-loving microbe living in the dark. It fed on hydrogen gas and carbon dioxide. Every living thing on Earth descends from this environment. The deep sea is not just an extreme habitat. It is the biological cradle of our. We have reached the end of our deep journey. 100 facts about extreme life in the abyss. We explored freezing trenches and superheated volcanic vents. We met microbes that breathe iron and eat rocks. We discovered life thriving under crushing oceanic pressure. These tiny organisms challenge our understanding of biology. They survive where no life was thought to exist. They build complex ecosystems in complete and total darkness. Their resilience teaches us about the strength of life. Life finds a way in the harshest possible conditions. This deep-sea journey connects us to Earth's history. It shows us the ancient origins of all biology. The ocean floor is a vast and mysterious frontier. New microbes are found with every deep-sea expedition. The dark waters hold countless more microscopic secrets. Thank you for joining this long and peaceful descent. I hope these scientific wonders bring you quiet comfort. Let the rhythmic breathing of the ocean soothe you. Let the deep-sea currents wash away your thoughts. The extremophiles continue their silent work in the dark. They will remain there through the long quiet.